Is there a way for someone not within your general political space to critique you for your politics, or is it kind of hard right now to see who's genuinely criticizing you or just trying to farm off of shitting on you? I'll be, because I'm on my hubris arc, I'll say this. I'm probably the most read and researched person in the political sphere of my size when it comes to this. So no, I don't think anybody can criticize me on my political positions because they lack the specific knowledge. They're unwilling to read or do any research, and they lack the general knowledge. They just don't understand anything about government, finance, history, anything to levy any criticism at me. So all of it is either personal ad hom or ridiculous straw man. But I mean, like, that's not just because I'm exceptionally smart. It's just because the area that I inhabit is exceptionally stupid. You're just not expected to know anything or have any like general knowledge about anything, which is why you get fucking videos of who's that Canadian guy, Jordan Peterson, and he's supposed to theoretically be your next maybe prime minister. This Pierre Poilievre, I don't know how to pronounce his fucking name.
Our productivity.
Where these guys are like discovering for the very first time the term productivity. Productivity? What productivity?
Productivity is another major problem. Like right now.
Also, this is a hilarious video. Productivity. So I'm at least impressed because whenever somebody knows like a year one grade school or high school level econ term and they're in politics, I'm like, oh my God, yes, thank you for knowing a little bit. So this guy just learned yesterday, I guess, the term productivity. Now, the funny thing is if you know anything about productivity, so productivity is the measure of like how much can a worker produce for a given hour of work, right? So
our productivity is another major problem. Like right now, and that's productivity sounds complicated. It's actually extremely simple. You just take the GDP and you divide it by the hours worked in the country. So American GDP is $80. So for every hour an American worker works on average, he or she produces $80 of GDP. In Canada, it's 50. So that's every hour. So that means we have to work 60% more just to make the same amount and have the same level of income to buy food and housing. So that's the...
So, oh, cool. So good for him. But if you know anything about productivity, one of the best ways to boost productivity of your labor is education. They do an 11.5-minute video. Well, I think this is part of a larger conversation, talking about how low productivity is an issue in Canada, but because ideologically they have to hate school, they never bring up a single time in this whole conversation. They don't bring up increasing access to college, increasing education of labor force. It's not even brought up. It's just like a thing that they bring up to talk about how much harder, I guess, work is in Canada or something. It's like, wait, what? How can you bring this up and not mention that? So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, in 2016, I had like this delusional fantasy that online politics would be like arguing in the weeds substantively over government reports, over different studies and research, over different whatever. But in reality, it's usually just people shit-slinging ad homs at each other.
Skyrocketing.
Over and over and over again. Or attacking the most ridiculously strawman positions without even having like a general foundation of knowledge. Look at this dipshit. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Canada is considered to be more educated than Canada. Found the Canadian. Cons have to hate school? Yeah, I don't know why. Conservatives now just hate school. Actually, I should be careful. I don't know if in Canada, if you guys have gotten there just yet. I know that Canadians that come to the United States are there because Jordan Peterson is the #1 college hater. But yeah. If you're so fed up with how non-conducive the online environment for political change, both by content creators and audiences, why not expand your genuine political takes into other mediums than online, like publishing books or writing articles? Well, the thing that sucks is that like my biggest gifts or the abilities that I have like the most of is I excel a ton in debate, in like dynamic live conversations, obviously in online content creation, and in terms of being like adversarial. Like these are things, and I have a lot of we'll say tenacity for dealing with online shit. So like, could I write articles or publish stuff if I were to just get a PhD or something? I mean, like maybe, I'm sure, assuming RFK doesn't delete my Vyvanse. But I feel like I am, because I have such good gifts in other areas, it just feels like a waste to like, oh, okay, I'm just gonna go publish stuff. Not that it's wasteful to publish stuff or wasteful to do articles or books or whatever like that, but I'm just saying that because I'm talented in other areas, it just seems like a waste to just do that, you know? We are making a big push to the trades and just, quote, get into the trades, bros, end quote. Here in Canada, our PM has set up a lot of trade programs for high schoolers, which doesn't seem bad. Trades are fine. However, trades are like, it's like college light. Like you still pay, you still have to get some debt to do like an apprenticeship and to become a journeyman. To go to trade school still requires some debt, and you still have to go to school for, it depends, I think, on the program or whatever. They're not bad though. I think there should be like more, I think maybe the technical term might be like discrimination. So if you're in high school and you want to go to college, there's probably a decent gap of people who maybe just don't have it for whatever reason for college, but would do way better with more than just high school. And then I think the trades fit like a really good middle ground there. That can be promoted more, but it doesn't have to be at the expense of college, right? Just help people select better or discriminate better between who goes to college and who would be better off in a trade, you know? Like that's it. You don't have to hate one to support the other. Why is it always messaging with Democrats? All this time they push education, but the number one way to get into a trade is to go into a trade school. But all Dems focus on is college when talking about it. Do they? I feel like Dems, I don't even know if Dems talk about college that much anymore. I feel like we don't even talk about education right now. Or at least I haven't heard Dems talk about college in a long time. But maybe they do and I just miss those conversations. Do you think the Second Amendment is intended for the prevention of tyranny? Maybe. My feeling is the answer is yes, but I don't know if it's in the way that people intended, but I don't have the prerequisite historical background to say. The feeling that I have from the little I do know is that it feels to me like the Second Amendment existed to make sure that the states themselves could have militias that couldn't be disarmed by the federal government. It had nothing to do with a private citizen's right to own a firearm, or little to do with that, and more to do with the state's abilities to organize and maintain an active militia if they wanted to, for fear of the newly formed federal government disarming the state militias and then taking over those states by force. That seems to be what the intention of the Second Amendment was. It seems to be, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah. I'm generally confused. Why would you expect Pierre to talk about education when it comes to Canadian versus American productivity? If Canadians are more educated, does that imply education can't be the barrier for higher productivity? I mean, education is just one of your best ways of like boosting productivity. There are other ways as well, but